Jones Lang Salle is one of the oldest and the world's leading real estate services firm, specializing with the management of commercial properties, spaces, leasing, and investments. We have with us the man in the helm of affairs at Jones Lang Salle, Mr. Colin Dyer. Colin, pleasure having you on NDTV.
Thank you, madam.
First, what's your outlook on the Indian real estate space?
Quite positive. The events of the last 2 years worldwide across all sectors of all economies have really been quite unprecedented. And so we've a situation where economies worldwide are working out how to recover and build their way out of the disaster of the great financial crisis. And if we look at India's position in the world, I think India is very well placed as an economy to pick up growth again, based on the fact that we've seen in India for the last decade good underlying growth rates. So there's a tremendous momentum for growth in the Indian economy. The financial system has remained in very good shape thanks to good governance by the Bank of India. And the market, although oversupplied in some sectors of real estate, is tight enough that there's potential for the underlying demand to pick up and start demand activity growing again.
But one would say that the pain of the recession was short-lived and India came back up a little too quickly. Would you read that in the same way? And is there a pain still left to be felt for India?
Well, I think from Indian perspective, thank heavens it was short-lived. Certainly in the US, where I now live, the pain has been quite long and protracted, and indeed isn't entirely over yet. But I think if you go back to the fundamentals, the Indian economy, as I said, has been growing robustly. There's a tremendous momentum there. Why shouldn't India have a short, sharp correction and then get back onto a growth path again, based on good governance of the economy and a sound financial system?
But is it largely residential driven? Do you see the commercial space has not picked up as much as you would have wanted, or in comparison to the residential real estate pickup?
Well, clearly, across all countries, the different sectors of commercial real estate are performing differently, and it's no different in India. So in the Indian case, the closer you get to the consumer, the better things look currently. So, for example, the demand for residential space has continued unabated. Why? The middle class continues to grow in India. There's a move towards urbanization. So both the multifamily and the single-family real estate development markets have remained robust, and there is a continuing shortage there. And that's why we've seen prices begin to pick up again in the major cities. If you go one step away from that, the retail sector has also continued to perform reasonably well, and indeed that's another sector where we can expect to see the development process pick up again quite quickly. When you go into industrial logistics space, or particularly into office, the picture is much more muted. Rents have declined significantly, demand levels have dropped, and it may be some time, several quarters, before we see a pickup in demand in those sectors.
Right. But do you see a correlation with the IT space, infotech space, which was one of the key drivers of the real estate boom, if I could say, in India? That has been muted largely. Is that one of the reasons? Would you read that the commercial space pickup is slower rather than?
Well, again, that's very city dependent. So we're here today in Chennai.
Tubar.com.